It's a beautiful Monday morning, and we're here bright and early to ensure that you start your day right as well. Welcome to the program. I am Moses Humphrey, and this is VOP This Morning. Over the next 2 hours, we'll be looking at a few issues. One of them is the tragic error. Nigerian Air Force air strike killing 20 vigilantes in Zamfara State. Now this, one time too many, I must say. Well, that and more on the program this morning.
Exactly, Moses. I think you took it from my mouth. That is one too many. Oh, well, good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro. And when we move away from that, we'll talk about hardship and the alarming surge in malnourished children as it raises concern in Jigawa State.
Interestingly, good morning, Chukuma. Good morning, Moses. Good morning, Nigeria. Today also is the 13th day in the month of January 2024. And then, they've actually ruled out all that we have to talk about today during the course of the show, from the mistake, talking about the bombardment and killing of the vigilante members or group, then to the issue of malnourishing children in Jigawa State. But anyway, we'll have to move away from that because I have other trending stories that made it to the social media yesterday or during the weekend. But, you can be part of today's show. You can be part of the family. It's a very simple thing to do. Go straight down to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we had Voice of the People TV. And on other social media platforms, we had VOP TV Live. So you can click on the subscription button and then, you click on the notification bell too so they can get to know when we are live, so they can be part of the show. Also, we have a number scrolling on the screen. Do well to call the number. You can send us a video on WhatsApp. You can also call the number for you to be part of today's conversation. Remember, with Voice of the People TV, you have more than a voice. And talking about other stories that made it to the social media, we have a certain senator, Senator John Azuta Mbata. He was the one that was declared the 13th President General of the Ohaneze Ndigbo. And this happened after the January 10, 2025 election, which was in Enugu State. Receiving widespread support, however, Uche Okwukwu, a former Secretary General of the socio-cultural group of the Igbos, claims that to have been elected as President General on January 9, 2025 in Port Harcourt, with support from Ipob. This has led to confusion and unresolved leadership disputes within Ohaneze Ndigbo. This also happened, I think last week too, we talked about it, we touched a little on it, where some people were saying, no, Port Harcourt or Rivers people, some of them have come up to say, we are not Igbos, we are Rivers and all that. And there was an election that's supposed to happen on the 10th when the supposed tenure of the late Iwanyanwu, which was taken over by another Igbo statesman, elapsed. But even some people went to court over this issue. How are we going to do this election? Who will be the next president of Ohaneze Ndigbo? Now we're having two presidents. One, Senator John Azuta Mbata, and the second person now is the Uche Okwukwu. He said during the election that was conducted on the 9th of January in Port Harcourt, he was declared the winner. And Senator John's own election happened in Enugu State. Chukuma, who is the president of Ohaneze Ndigbo? We need to ask this question at this point. Okay,
Fina, I'm happy that you said that we need to ask this question because I thought you were asking me directly, as if I was the mouthpiece of Ohaneze Ndigbo. Oh, well, I think the issue of the Ohaneze Ndigbo crisis, there were two controversies that trailed it. And if you ask me, in my own opinion, the two of them have been settled. The first one is that, look, we now understand that there are Igbo-speaking people in parts of River State. That one is established. No two ways about it. And the fact that River State now is going to produce the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo puts pay to the fact that, look, there are Igbo-speaking people in River State, like I said earlier. Because we also had a Ralph Wechwe, former Biafran ambassador to Germany, who was also President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo at a point in time, So that one is a controversy that has been settled. The second one is who now emerged as the authentic President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo. There are procedures, there are processes of doing things. Ohaneze, I understand, has their secretariat in Enugu State, somewhere in OGROA. That is where the secretariat of Ohaneze is. And it happens that Senator John Azuta Mbata was elected inside that secretariat by delegates drawn from across length and breadth of Igbo land. 5 states, 7 states, as a matter of fact. Now, the governors who happen to be the representatives of the people have also affirmed the fact that Senator John Azota Mbata is the validly, duly elected leader of Ohanese and Igbo. I think that is it for me. So both controversies have been actually dealt with. The next thing is to move on and see how the Pan-Igbo organization, the leadership of the Pan-Igbo organization will mobilize, come together and mobilize the different tendencies within the Igbo community, within the Igbo nation, and ensure that being part of this country, they not just move the Igbo nation forward, but move Nigeria forward as a whole. That's it for me.
If you think that this issue is already resolved, now I want to ask, what will not be the fate of Uche Okwukwu, who said that IPOB members are also a part of the people that participated in the January 9th election that happened in Port Harcourt? And what I want to ask again, why are we having this issue now that it's the turn of Rivers to produce the president of Ohanese?
Fina, I'm sorry to say this, IPOB is not recognized to speak for the Igbo nation.
They are not recognized to speak for the Igbo
nation. Are they delegates? Were they delegates to the election?
But you and I actually on this table, we understand that a whole lot of persons from the Southeast have been talking about one man. And they've been saying, release this particular individual who has been talking and who have been also, calling for, if possible, cessation or agitation for Igbos to be on their own. This man actually has been so vocal about how the Igbos are being marginalized and what need to be done for them to either be part of Nigeria wholeheartedly or, for them to stay on their own. And you also know that even when some people will come up to say, yes, you're not part of IPOBs and all that, but they also have their weight thrown behind him. The likes of Engineer Bariba have been talking about how he's willing to, stand in the gap for the man if it's to be released or granted.
Has the man been released?
As the case may be. We know.
So this same group that you are talking about now, why is it that they are asking the governors to step into the fray to ensure that this man is
remember released? That, okay, now, Chukuma, if we're taking this out of the saying that IPOB is not speaking for Igbos and all that, we know that they have a whole breed.
When I say that the government is most likely to listen to an Ohanese than listen to IPOB, that is the line that I'm talking about.
So has the issue been resolved already?
I'm telling you that the issue has been resolved. The government and the people of the South have said that, look, John Azotambata is the PG of Ohanese and Igbo.
I don't think so. I think we have a long way to go on this.
In the books of the federal government, you are likely to see a John Azotambata as the President General of
Ohanese, gentlemen of the press. Well, interesting times, interesting events unfolding. Just when one thought, yes, all of this will be dealt with. Well, first off, I would say I particularly like the fact that the zoning aspect was properly done. It showed maturity on the part of the players, Ohanese. It has moved from one part of the east to another, and then River State, yes, like Chukuma rightly said, this emergence of participants from River State puts paid to the question of if there are Igbo-speaking people in River State. So that's done and dusted. Now, I understand that Iwanyan is from Imo State. When he was elected, elections were held in Imo State for him when he was elected. The other man who's from Enugu State, elections were held in Enugu State. So one starts to ask the question, why is it that at this time that elections were held in River State by delegates within River State? But we are hearing that another election was held in Enugu State for the emergence of a Rivers candidate. So there's a lot of questions. Now, Chukuma might say this is done and dusted, but I think in the coming days, there's a lot more that will unfold. And another question on my mind is, why are we having this division at this time? We're having factions now. Is it because are there undertones? Are there political undertones for the forthcoming elections? Because we know that Ohanese and Igbo plays a major role when it comes to elections. Past leaders, the Buhari, tried to grab Ohanese and Igbo at the time, but of course their loyalty was shifted towards Atiku Abubakar at the time. So past leaders of Nigeria have always tried to have some sort of romance with Ohaneze. Now, this Azutambata, yes, that has emerged now, seems he's more of a politician. He's more tilted towards the political elite. Now, Fina was trying to say something about IPOB. Yes, IPOB may not be recognized to speak on behalf of the Igbo people, but they are made up of Igbos as well. And they are saying that the people's voice chose Uche Okwukwu. The politicians chose John Azutambata. So there is that disparity now. The people are saying, look, now you are trying to silence the people's voice. You're trying to, impose somebody that the people did not unilaterally elect. The delegates that elected this one is different from the delegates that elected this one. So there is a disparity. But let's see how all of it unfolds.
Let's see how it
in the coming days.
First off, like you normally said, let's talk about where the elections held. It's probable that Iwanyanwu was elected, in Owerri, and that this one is taking place in Owerri. But I also understand that, look, Ohaneze has its secretariat in Enugu, so they might as well choose to conduct the elections there. Now, talking about politicians, Iwanyanwu was full-blown politician. I mean, at a point, he contested presidential elections. John Onyeanwodo was, full-blown politician. Mazi Ozichukwu, the man that took over from Iwanyanwu, former national vice chairman of PDP, Southeast, so it's the call of politicians. And if you talk about this Igbo, Pan-Yoruba, Pan-Hausa, Afenifere, Ohaneze, Arewa, all of them tend to, have positions in government or with government. Not really positions, but some form of alignment. So it's a normal thing because it's actually the government that interfaces through them, with the people through them. So that is it. And if you ask me, let me ask, has there ever been a time IPOB paid a visit to the presidency to speak on behalf of the people? I'm not trying to diminish whatever they have done, excellently well in their own right. But we are looking at legal processes of legitimacy, process of recognition. As for now, the governors are solidly behind John Azutambata.
Same governors
these are the people that
take out the shackle of the sit at home order.
These are the people that are likely to, push the narrative of, look, this is the person that recognized. The circles of
thing there is, like Moses
IPOB has also not done that.
Like Moses said, let's see how it goes.
I don't want to sound clearly
anti-IPOB,
anyway. Because, like I said, I recognize the efforts they have made, in pushing some kind of narrative about the Igbo nation. But for now, this is what it is. But like you said, let's see how it pans out.
In the coming days.
And it is interesting also to know that the tussle in Kano State is not yet over, where we have the Alhaji Aminu Adobayo rejecting the judgment of the appeal court, which nullifies a federal high court order that removed Muhammad Sanusi II as the 16th emirate or emir of Kano State. Bayero on Sunday said he is heading to Supreme Court to challenge the appeal court's verdict. And then, Sanusi on his own, Lamino Sanusi on his own was of the opinion that those who have been cursing this chaos or who are causing this issue in Kano State should decede or they'll be burnt. Talking about how they're making everything look like it's been politicized and all that. He is calling for peace in Kano State. And also he is of the opinion that the people who are cursing the issue, who are beneath, political elites in Kano State, who are trying to bring fire or make the state not to be cool or governable again, should decede from it or they'll be burned. When you think it's over, Moses, you find out that it's more like the battle is now beginning. From what the Court of Appeal said, we are going to Supreme Court over the seats, emirate seat of Kano State, interestingly.
Well, these conversations, it's funny how they just continue, and it ultimately rests with the courts. Well, this is a case of interpretation. It's a case of interpreting what the courts have said and how it's been perceived. Sanusi has, said, look, he is authentic 16th emir, but Adebayero is challenging that. Well, it's still within the jurisdiction of the court. I would rather just want to see how this one plays out as well, without being sub judice. So let's just get now. When judgments are made, it will do us a lot of good if there are proper interpretation. When the CTC is put out there, let there be proper interpretation. Sometimes the judicial terms can be confusing to the layman, you know. So let there be proper interpretation. It will save Nigerians a lot of trouble trying to understand the position of the judiciary or the position of the law in some of these issues. That's my take on this one.
Well, Moses, I think the issue of interpretation before the layman, that's to tell you that everything is within the call of politics, because the Attorney General of the state is certainly not a layman. In law, he's not. So he understands. So when politics comes in, you know, they begin to interpret it the way it suits them. And that's why some people will also say that the law is a two-edged sword, you know, and any way you swing it, you know. So, but a lot of people, including myself, I think we like what is happening, because it strengthens our judiciary, it strengthens our jurisprudence to the point that, look, if there are disagreements between parties, instead of resorting to violence and arm twisting and all of that, the courts are the best place, you know, to go and seek for understanding of, look, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of that? And fortunately for us, this case is now going to the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which is more like the terminal point of jurisdiction. So we wait to see what the Supreme Court decides about this matter. By then, everybody will rest. Both Sanusi, both Bayero, both the Kano State government, both the APC, both the NMPP, and everything, all the mix, the potpourri of politics that has actually, you know, been playing out. The whole thing will just simmer down, and we'll understand who is the authentic emir of Kano State.
No, I'm not happy about how it's going on. I'm not happy about what is happening in Kano State, because, you know, that state is one state I cherish so much. You know, having a whole lot of things. While I was growing up, I have so many emotions and the whole thing, you know, there. But now the thing is this. If, for example, we have, when Sanusi was sacked as the emir of Kano, he was sent on exile, he left. He didn't say anything. Quietly, he left. You know, now that is turn of the Adobairo door, his father was one who was the emir before, you know, the whole issue, the whole thing started happening, you know. He also should understand that the seat of the emir in Kano State has their procedures. If they sack you and say you're no longer the emir, you should leave. I personally have issues with the man who come in there and say, we have to disintegrate the whole thing. We have to create so many other emirate councils in Kano State.
See, all of
it has
this,
been one single thing.
Are you aware that this case is in court?
I know it's in court.
So you just be careful what you say. Just be careful what you say.
All right, then let's move away from these issues. Let's look at what the papers are saying this morning. And that comes up, newspaper headlines, right after this very short break. Join us again. All right, then. Good morning once again. If you're just tuning in, you're right on time. You haven't missed so much, but you've missed quite a little. Well, let's get into the papers now. The Guardian is on our table this morning. Road to $1 trillion economy. That's the banner headline. Nigeria toes EU's path. Integrates $146 billion shadow economy in GDP plan. Bayero heads to Supreme Court over emirship tussle. Yes, we just talked about that one. And then there is that breakdown again, the way the Guardian always does it. Known as shadow economy, informal economy, black market, illegal transactions, smuggling, human trafficking, gambling, prostitution, results, wrong GDP estimation. There you have it. And then some of the headlines here. Obasanjo reveals how Jimmy Carter saved him from Abacha. There was a funeral service held yesterday in honor of Jimmy Carter by Obasanjo. Mixed reactions trail announcement of Uwade as Alaafin elect. Diaspora group endorses Seyi Tinubu as next governor of Lagos State. It started already. Politics. States honor fallen heroes. Happen peace, security. And, well, these are the headlines. And also, airstrike, Zamfara government, APC applaud NAF as military denies civilian casualties. 500,000 farmers displaced within 2 years, says Dawn. These are the headlines from the Guardian newspaper.
On the cover page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, the stories there are: OPEC quota eludes Nigeria amid rising oil output. Right as to that story, where oil output rises, Lobobiri, pipeline vandalism, theft, others hinder output. Most oil spills caused by oil theft, sabotage, and that's coming from Shell. NNPC security agencies uncover 33 illegal oil connections. Investors go for new oil, gas assets. We have introduced critical regulations. And then the window headlines are: Emmership Terzo, Bayero heads to Supreme Court. The story is on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. Christian elders charge Tinubu for attending Arab Islamic Summit. Serap drags FG governors to ECOWAS court over misuse of Cybercrimes Act. The story is on page 8 and 10 respectively. And we have a major pictorial on the cover page of Vanguard where our president, arrives Arab Emirates. The headline on that says Tinubu arrives United Arab Emirates. All right, PDP crisis fears grips secretariat. I'll take that again. PDP crisis, fear grips secretariat staff as activities resume. Right as to that, Obey cuts judgment, affirming Okoye as PDP scribes. BOT chair Wabara tells NWC. Ugeli Government College 8th Anniversary Channels TV Chevron Shell bosses others bags awards. Repentant bandits seeks forgiveness over atrocities. The story is on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then we have on page 37 where we have the sports there. It says, Shirley, NFF begs Nigerians to support him. And Mr. and Mrs., I wouldn't want to take that, that's a cartoon there, I'm not taking it. But those are the headlines you see on the cover page of the Vanguard newspaper today.
And up next is the Daily Trust with the banner headline, Airstrike kills 15 in Zamfara. There are vigilantes, governor, that's coming from the governor. We killed bandits, Nigerian Air Force. So who do we believe now? Oh, well, with time we'll find out. Now, just below that, you have Lagos-Calabar Road Project missing in 2025 budget. It was also not captured in 2024. Shake up in army, Oluyede moves to bolster anti-terrorism fight. Minister Jega commends Zulum over ranches for headers. Kata Sotman released from Abacha's detention. That's coming from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. There's a picture there of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he received in audience the chairman of First Holdco PLC, that's Mr. Femi Otedola, during Otedola's courtesy visit to the president in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. I mean, Femi Otedola paid a courtesy visit to our president in Abu Dhabi, UAE. One might want to ask is First Bank on the menu? Oh, well, that's their own business. Now, President Bola, there's another picture there about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Peter Mbano, I guess, watching the official unveiling of the command center of Enugu City and something like that. Oh, well, that's all from the Daily Trust newspaper.
All right, now to the Punch newspaper. On top of the masthead, PDP factional secretaries set for showdown vow to resume today. NAF unveils tough rules to curb airmen's exodus. How Carter intervened to save me from Abacha's gulag. Obasanjo. Again, 16 civilians killed as NAF bombs Zamfara bandits. All right? It's interesting how this is being given, a corner section. These are lives supposedly, purportedly lost. But let's see, civilian lives purportedly lost. Serial outages, Dangote, NNPCL, Total, 247 firms dump discos, generate 6,500 megawatts. Operators blame poor supply for move. FG laments exit from national grid. All right. We'll talk more about these stories when during newspaper review, and that's at 9 o'clock. California fire, Trump blames leaders for poor response as 16 killed. This is, anyway, we'll talk more. APC opposition differ on INEC's 125 billion naira budget request. It's not an election year. What is going on? All right, and then Stampede. Oyo files murder charges against Ooni's ex-queen, others. Ogun housewife stabs husband to death for alleged infidelity. Wow. And there she is with the weapon in her hand, looking all innocent. All right then. Okay, 80th anniversary. GCU to honor channels, television, Shell, Chevron, bosses, others. Well, these are the headlines from the Punch newspaper this beautiful morning.
On the cover page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have the bold headline there to be FG probes rise in religious tension in Southwest. The writer to that story, operatives question Sharia proponents in Oyo, arrest traditional worshippers for desecrating Quran. FUSIM-led OPC wants Southwest governors to declare state of emergency on security. And then we have right beneath the masthead, NLC seeks dialogue on tax reform bills. Confusion, lamentation trail Lagos ban on single-use plastics. NDLEA seizes 6 vehicles, 40-feet trailer load skunk in Abuja midnight raid. All right, and the window headlines are home builders groan under challenge of inadequate artisans and craftsmen. 5 years after Nigeria vehicle financing scheme may commence this month. Right after that, a newly adopted national automotive policy enters second year. CBN woos diaspora investment with launch of 2 new products. Okay, and we have a pictorial where the president having a handshake with Otedola. And beside that, Ibadan Stampede. Court determines bail applications today. Suspects may face fresh 18-count charges. Soldiers kill over 25 terrorists, destroy terrorist camp in Zamfara. And that's on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. After 2019 Supreme Court verdict, Erua to begin selection process of new Oba. The last but not the least of the headlines, the last but not the least of the stories that made it to the cover page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning is a PDP. Anxiety as 2 national secretaries resumes today. Opposing supporters spoil for war.
All right, that's how far we can go on newspaper headlines. Don't forget, at 9 o'clock, we'll go deeper into these stories, and that's on newspaper review. In the meantime, let's get into the conversation, and we will be joined by Barrister Darlington Nagumwon and Akin Fatunke as we try to make sense of the happenings around Nigeria, especially with the fight against insecurity. Tragic error. Nigerian Air Force airstrike killed about 20 vigilantes in Zamfara. Let's talk about this one when we come back from this break. Join us again.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries. Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space. Exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills 3 things: that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Well, thanks for joining us again. Now let's get into the conversation proper. Now, in a tragic turn of events, Nigerian Air Force airstrikes mistakenly targeted, according to a few people, targeted the Zamfara State Community Protection Guard, ZSCPG, vigilantes and residents of Tungakara in Maradun local government area. The incident, which claimed at least 20 lives, occurred shortly after bandits raided the area and fled. While local vigilante and residents mobilized to defend their community were caught in the strike. Well, so far we hear about 16 bodies have been retrieved, with the final death toll still uncertain as rescue efforts continue. The airstrike intended for the fleeing bandits instead left the community devastated, prompting calls for an investigation and support for affected families. The military authorities have yet to issue an official statement on the incident. Meanwhile, Nigerian Air Force revealed that while Turji's location, that's Turji Bello, the notorious bandit, his location is unknown, some of his allies were killed in recent airstrikes on bandits in Zamfara State. Air Vice Marshal Olushola Akiboyewa stated that top bandit commanders were eliminated and several bandits injured during the strike, which were coordinated with ground troops. Oh well. With us in the studio, we have Akin Fatunke, who is a communication consultant and an arbitrator. Oh well. Good to have you join us this morning. And we also have Barrister Darlington Agomo, VOP analyst and a political commentator. Gentlemen, good to have you this beautiful Monday morning. It's always a pleasure to start the week with you, two gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Moses. Thank you for the rest of the crew. I'd like to say good morning, Nigeria, and happy morning, my sparring partner.
All right then. So, Barrister, let me start off with you now.
Yeah.
It's one too many. Now, according to SBC or SBM, a research institution, they said between 2017 and 2024 September, we've had 17 mistaken, and I put that in inverted commas, mistaken airstrikes that have purportedly killed innocent people as against what the actual target is. Now, last year, December 25, actually, there was a strike in Sokoto, where some innocent Nigerians were allegedly killed in that one. The Air Force initially came out to say, look, that did not happen. It was coordinated airstrike. They targeted and they got their target. But then later, we heard that they also said, in fact, it was in the same breath, that investigation will take place. They will investigate. And then much later, some monies were given out as compensation to the families of those that lost loved ones. What do you think is going on here? What is the problem? Is it lack of coordination, or what exactly are we faced with at this time?
Thank you, Moses. What you are seeing here is not actually a mistake. I don't think so, because if you look at the stories that came out after each mistaken bombing, so to say, you will discover that there is complicity here.
Complicity?
Yes, complicity, because even without being told, the way this fight against terrorism has been going on, you should know that some people are not even happy that terrorists are being decimated. There is complicity here. It has been pronounced, it has been said over and over again. There is so much sympathy by our military in favor of the terrorists. Sympathy for them. Sympathy.
Okay,
look at the one that happened recently about a military barrack that was invaded.
Okay.
Moses, how can you describe that kind of thing? Let us even talk of the one that is on the ground. Let's leave what is in the air. You may say, okay, you didn't see clearly. How about the ground one that happened? A whole barracks. Moses, if you have a barrack somewhere around here, before you can access that barrack, there must be 3 or 4 checkpoints. How come those checkpoints did not even alert the people inside the barrack? Look, there are some movements around here. We don't know what they're up to. You kept quiet until they invaded the barrack and caused a lot of damage. What happened to those checkpoints? Moses, where did they go to? That they did not alert anybody that look, these things is happening though, so that those ones inside will not prepare. Please, can that be a mistake? No, somebody should come and tell me that it was a mistake too. So the one that happened in the air, yes, you can explain it away. The one that's going on the ground, uncle, okay, how many heads are rolled? Moses, that is the reason why this has continued repeatedly, because no head has ever been held accountable. Moses, you were here when that thing happened. I am giving you history so that you know that this is not a mistake. That day, there was a curfew in that area. Everybody knew that. The military left their post. Police left their post. DSL left their post. And these guys came in a 15 Hilux buses. They came in easily and went easily and picked those girls. At the end of the day, it was accusation and counter. We handed over to police. Police said, nobody handed over to us. Amnesty International was calling the military. 5 missed calls. They did not pick it to tell them that these guys are coming. Because when they are coming, they don't even make mistakes. They don't even hide it. They come with so much boldness. They put on their flag. Everybody saw that they were coming in convoy. The military cleared the way. The police cleared the way. And they came and picked these girls. Is that not what happened? And today we are looking for Leah Sharibu. Please, let people stop all this. Look, I don't like it when people want to play on my telly. I don't like it. It annoys me. What kind of explanation is that? Okay. You don't know what you are doing?
Well, let's bring Akin into the conversation now. Complicity, the barrister says. Some Nigerians also think in that light. But then we see that the different stance of the military also lays credence to the thought that there might be some sort of complicity. Well, some of us have said that, look, those that are crying out that civilians were affected are majorly sympathizers of the bandits, and that's not the true situation of things. What are your thoughts, really? Are you aligned, or would you say that the military is doing its job, but certain individuals are trying to make them look bad?
Thank you very much, Moses. The humanity in me usually gives credence to the fact that no human being, no institution, not the least in Nigeria, is perfect to the extent that you cannot have.
Okay, so it's imperfection.
A mistake. Okay. Mistake in communication, mistake in intent. So, the Fasan Yama operation that just took place. So, my first reaction is to say that my heart goes seriously in prayers and commiseration with those who lost their lives, the civilians, plus the other 17 that you mentioned.
So you are in agreement that civilians lost their lives here?
Allegedly. According to what
the reports. Okay.
But I am totally, and it is not possible for me to as a Nigerian, far away from the theater of war, make a blanket accusation against our military. I will not do that. Yes, there might have been a bit here and there, but these guys that are facing the bullets all through when we are sleeping, yes, they could improve. Yes, the logistics, the coordination can improve. No doubt about that. In fact, in one of those instances, the locals came out and they said they were the ones shielding, the insurgents. Newspapers reported them, we know, and that is the truth. Even though you may argue that such spaces have not seen semblance of governance, and so whoever comes is like their Robin Hood. But notwithstanding, these guys suck you in, eventually kill you in the process. In fact, Zachala Bello Toji has consistently made that point. So I don't think that could have been. So please, having said that, please, can we look at these operations and what happened?
Mm-hmm.
What also happened is that the Nigerian Air Force came out and told us positively that substantial portions were decimated.
Okay.
They were decimated. That gladdens me. That gladdens me because
how
these guys.
I'm sorry. I hate to
these guys
interrupt.
Come out of hiding, kill our soldiers, and then go back.
I hate to interrupt you, but if it gladdens you to hear that, okay, substantial, can that be just mere statements just to make Nigerians feel some kind of way? Because the reason I say this is because the report has it that the community in Zamfara was attacked, and then the bandits were leaving, in fact, had left. The community, the vigilante, galvanized with vigilantes from other communities, came together, joined in repelling the bandits, and that was when the airstrike took place, affecting those that came to repel the bandits. That's the reports that we are hearing.
Okay.
And also, Mr. Akin, just add this up now. If you say it's more like a mistake, how is it that the military, let's take it back to Sokoto, how is it that the military still denies that particular attack that happened in Sokoto? They blame the people, saying that no civilian was, killed. Why wouldn't you just come up and say, okay, it's a mistake, it happened, and,
And sorry, before you respond, just to add a little ice into it now.
Okay.
We also hear certain, I've forgotten the name now, but certain relevant individuals say it could be secondary bombings. That when you bomb an area where bandits are, there might be weapons that might be affected. This was also blamed in the December 25 the airstrike that took place in Sokoto, that it might be secondary explosion, not the one dropped by NAF.
I make myself very, very clear here. I started by saying I agree that it has to be a continuous improvement. It can't be a perfection. Mistakes could have been made. All I said is I disagree that it was deliberate. And I keep on saying, that's all I've just said. Now, you did say what happened to the Lakurewa. I am actually referring to the Lakurewa insurgents because I saw locals. I saw it on video, unless if this, we can also say alleged, that they came out and said, yes, they would rather want to support those guys because they've given them little here and there. And I told you, I said because governance has not reached that place, the kind of negative effects, negative externalities that we are getting, it's unfortunate. Of course, the military, the Nigerian military is on record that they have come and apologized. I know that for sure. Okay. And all I am also saying is that it is not fair. Like you said, Moses, you said you got a report. You got the other report. Now the military is giving a report. And we are now doubting the military report. Why do we choose to doubt the military report?
Okay.
And choose to believe the other reports?
All right.
I think
I
think it's only fair that Nigeria is governed by a rule of law.
Okay.
I also think Nigeria is governed by a rule of convention. All these alleged, I would rather, in my honest opinion, skew towards what the military authorities are giving us.
All right.
All right then. Sir, Mr. K, I'd like to stay with you. I want us to talk about the issue of deliberate, the issue of mistake and the issue of complicity.
Okay.
I mean, Barrister Darlington Agomohe cited instances where you had 3 military checkpoints, before a certain school. And within the period that the invaders came, those checkpoints, they couldn't do anything. In fact, they had all abandoned their posts.
Yeah.
And despite calls being made, to military authorities,
Right.
they couldn't respond. And this is not the first time. In parts of Middle East, military is called upon, they are called upon to come and intervene. And then they don't come up until the havoc is done, finished. They now come and start arresting indigents.
Did you say Middle East?
Yeah, sorry, Middle Belt.
Middle Belt. Okay,
Middle
good.
Belt.
Okay, good.
We also have a situation where we had bandits had come and were already leaving. That was the point that the military now came and bombed civilians. What form of what else do we need, to see before we begin to allege complicity on the part of the military?
So if you take the gamut, let's take the gamut right from precisely during Jonathan's time, okay? Because that's when you have the Dapchi, the Chibok and all that. All through Buhari and up till now. We all agree that things have not gone well, have not gone down well with our military. We also agree that certain 5th, 6th, 7th columns, even within the military itself, we all know that. There's no doubt about that. And attempts are now being made to try and make sure you sift. There was, for the very first time within this period, that the military high command were going to go on a mutiny. You remember that? Because they said some of their allowances were not paid, even though some of our command soldiers, much earlier on, also suffered that kind of a feat. All I said, Mr. Okoro, is that yes, all those three checkpoints, the military high command, somebody will have to give an instruction from central. If those instructions were not given, yes, I agree. I agree that at that high echelon, something is not working. Something up till now is still not perfectly working. Does not give me, as a Nigerian, the right to now then say the whole of the Nigerian military. I will not say that.
Anyway, it might not be the whole, but the question I want to ask again is the issue of mistakes. For how long should we condone these mistakes, assuming they are mistakes? Because people have been killed. Justice is not served to those people. Because if we keep condoning these mistakes, they are more likely to happen again and again. Because like Moses said, this is one too many.
Chukma, you are so right. Even if it is just one life that has been lost, even if it's one life that has been lost, it is not acceptable. But I also happen to know that you and I sit here, and our listeners who are listening to us sit there, see how our military are being decimated. My point, therefore, is, I'm not saying tit for tat, but I'm also saying our military are working against odds, against inefficiencies, and against a lot of corruption at high levels.
All right, then.
We should be very careful how we label them and then call all of them. We are not motivating them, even if it is just 2 or 3 of them within a band. That's the point I'm making.
All right, then. Well, Barrister, you seem to have an opposing view.
Yes, I do.
Okay, on what exactly?
Good. Let the good ones fish out the bad ones if they are not complicit. You were here when the NSA told you that the military is selling arms to terrorists. The military. He didn't say some. the military. So it must be at the high echelon of the military. Let them come and say, no, it's not true. Is that not what's supposed to happen? Just today, yesterday paper. Tinubu now place a ban on homosexuality in the military. That is what they are doing. That is what they are doing instead of fighting in the battle. And was that the one that said it? That is what they have been doing. For the president to say, I place a ban on this thing, that means that must have taken a toll on the military. It must have taken a toll on them. Instead of you to look at what is causing the problem. Excuse me, why should the Nigerian military even be living with terrorism up till now? 15 years going. They couldn't exterminate them. And you are giving an excuse. What kind of military is that? Can one terrorist survive in American soil for 24 hours?
Barrister Darlington, we've also seen military men come up to say, we need these people to give us the order to go and defend.
They know what to do.
Now, the thing is this, the military sometimes have also come up to say, we are not the one who have seen some military men come up to say, we are waiting for orders to go and destroy them. But they have not been able to get this order. We saw videos of them coming up. Now, are you saying now in general that their military are not doing anything? Is that what you're saying?
Hold on. They are not doing the right thing. Let them make the right call. The chief of army staff or chief of defense staff, let them confront the president now. That's what to do, not to be hiding under the, when your men are dying. Do you know what it means for you to lose your troop as a general? It's an embarrassment on his own. It's an embarrassment. You dare not. In Japanese army, you commit harakiri there.
Barrister Darlington, how can you confront your commander?
What is wrong with that? Telling them, Mr. President, these are what we want.
Okay, but you use the word confront.
Yes, what is wrong with that? Tell them that this is what we want. What's wrong with that? That's why they are up there, the army chief. But they can be inside of the military with a bumper giveaway. $20,000 for what? All the perks and off they are giving the military to leave the army. What did they even do? You failed and somebody is compensating you. What kind of military is that?
Talking about failing now, Barrister Darlington, there was a world ranking that just came out last week, and we found out that Nigeria now, talking about our military, we've slipped to the 36th position, 39th position out of 145, good, and we're kind of 4th position now. With all the acquirements of that that we've been doing, buying of weapons and all that, to make sure that Nigeria is able to do something, stand or take their ground as giant of Africa, fight insecurity and all that. Where does this really leave us?
It tells you the level of fraud. That's what I was saying now. When somebody said that you don't, if the head is rotten, please, how can the body be okay? The military chiefs, if they are the one who's supposed to make the call, and now under their watch, all these things are going. One military chief after the other. Borota have done his own and left. He was even given ambassador to go and wait for Ipob in the Republic of Benin. Unfortunately, the guy escaped to Germany and he's still there.
Wouldn't the confrontation be attacked by usurpation?
Is that what?
You say that the military should confront the president. Isn't that going to be sounding more
like,
usurpation or taking over?
Hold on. Leave the word.
Are you not saying they should go back to?
I have seen it happen in other climes. The military, in order to do their job, they don't look at faces. When the woman is in the labor room, look at her pushing her, she frowns. She doesn't know who is there. She might even bite you. That's the only way that baby can be born. Let me tell you. So don't tell me now that because I said, what's wrong with that? That's why I know that they are serious now. This one now that he placed a ban of homosexuality in the military. So what does that mean?
Okay.
What does that mean? Our military. That's what they spend their time doing now.
That's a different conversation.
Really? It's a different one.
This is we are talking about how their work to wipe out to curb insecurity in Nigeria.
That's why these mistakes are made. If their eyes is very clear, they will see clearly. But when they are involved in all these things, how can they see clearly?
No, that's according to you.
Thank you very much.
Please. Let's look at investigation. We've had when things like this happen. Like I said, report has it that in the past few years we've had 17 mistaken bombings, and then after each one, we hear that investigation will take place. Investigation will be carried out. But Nigerians are usually not made aware of the results of those investigations. Don't you think that in itself is what will fuel the disbelief of Nigerians in the activities of the military?
Moses, obviously, that is the gap.
Not being aware.
That is the gap. That something has happened, you set up an inquiry or whatever it is that you hardly hear. So you get, and you don't get the feedback and all that. Not just the military. That's all over the Nigerian nation space. And that is the truth. But I'm happy that the executive governor, call him the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, I'm happy he came out thanking the military. That's what I read. Thanking the military for the decimation, which we are now keeping aside, and we are now talking about.
So no, we understand.
No,
the
hang
decimation
on. What
is
I'm
there.
saying,
Okay.
what I'm saying, these guys are being ravaged on a daily basis. So if you go to the Zamfara and you go to the Sokoto axis, Lakurewa, the whole place is being decimated deliberately by these guys. And he says, "Oh, I'm happy that you've been able to do this." Now, as regards compensation, I'm also interested, very much interested, in the 17 that you mentioned, where it's been established that civilians have been killed. There has to be a compensation. And that has to be come out openly and let us know. But I also want to say situations where, due to no fault of these our soldiers fighting the wars, they are losing their lives. Have their families been compensated?
I'm concerned. I'm concerned about something.
No.
Sorry,
Please, let me just learn.
Okay.
Because it's important. It could have been me, it could have been you, it could have been any of us.
Absolutely.
So, have they been compensated? Go and check. Maybe they've not been adequately compensated. I'm talking from experience.
No, you're sounding. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you at this point.
Go ahead and interrupt me.
I know.
That's if you allow me to.
I want you to land.
Okay.
Yes, you will respond.
Okay.
I'm concerned because the tone I'm getting from you is that the military has been working assiduously to push back insecurity.
Yes.
They have lost lives and they are not being compensated. So that should water down the possible attacks on civilians.
Okay. The first part of
My concern.
your thesis, let me call it thesis. Yes, it's what I've said. But what you came up with your antithesis to say, I'm now asking that they should be watered down, I've not said that.
Okay.
I could never have said that.
All right.
I could never have said that because I know on one-on-one basis, we are approaching, and I'm wearing this badge, very beautifully on my chest.
I see.
Our soldiers are being killed seriously on a regular basis.
Okay.
And I am saying, while I agree, I also see complicity within the military and within the civilian population itself.
Okay.
Giving out and not making. Did you realize that within the military, at one point in time in this country, within the rank and file, they knew they were going for an operation. Members of the military gave out information and people were killed. Investigation started. 1 or 2 were discovered at that time. Are we doing it wholly, 100%? No, we are not.
Okay.
And I am just saying that, yes, the focus is on the military now. Tell me one aspect of our lives,
Where are we going?
including civil service,
Sorry, Mr.
where
we are concentrating.
where we have found perfection. Since we have not found perfection, I will not come here.
It's the call of leadership. It's the call of leadership.
And then I'll
Everybody
call,
agrees.
and call my military useless. And somebody is talking about our military.
Nobody has said that.
I know what I had.
And
Somebody will now say something like, it's because of homosexuality. So,
No,
are you saying about homosexuality for the very first time?
No, but the president has also banned homosexuality in the military as the commander-in-chief.
Yes. All I am saying,
Yes.
you are the one that geared away.
Okay. Why did they
The president made that call.
Okay.
Whether it's homosexuality, whether it's sodomy or whatever it is, it has always been.
So it must continue.
Sorry, gentlemen.
That's not what I said.
Sorry, gentlemen.
If the president came out and said it now, if you really think deep about what I'm saying, what has other presidents before now done?
Sorry, Mr. King. Sorry, Mr. King. Barrister.
He has
Sorry,
decided to
gentlemen.
make a pronouncement.
Okay.
But it is not all members of the military that are in sodomy. Don't make that kind of blanket.
Sorry, gentlemen. Barrister, hold on. Barrister, hold on.
It is all right.
Hold on. If something is
Barrister.
going on in an institution, who do you hold accountable? Is it not the man at the head? Where was he when this? Do you know that because of this thing that's going on in the military now, there is a reverse terms of engagement and terms of employment in the military, which the president signed on the 16th of December.
Barrister
where
Darlington,
everything
thank
was
you.
spelled out. Is
Thank
that
you,
not true?
Barrister
Now, what
Darlington.
I'm asking
Thank you very much.
Let's focus.
Gentlemen, let's focus. Let's focus. You mentioned the homosexuality thing as an aside. It's not our main topic of discussion. What we are talking about, Mr. K, I'd like to stay with you.
Yes, please.
When you say that, I'm happy also that you agree that there might be some form of complicity, you know, within the military. You also mentioned that on 2 or more occasions, our soldiers have been ambushed based on information received from the military command. I mean, people within the field, you know. Now,
people within the field and the civilian population.
And the civilian population.
Yes.
Now, my question is this. You made mention of the Zamfara state governor, you know, commending the military, you know, because they have apparently decimated Lakorawas and all of that. Do you sincerely believe that Lakorawa and the bandits have been decimated in Zamfara state? Because there is this back and forth often, you know, within 1 week they are decimated, 80 killed, and the next 2 weeks they come back, you know, in full, one fell swoop, and they wreak havoc. The last time we heard was that 50 communities had been displaced. They ran away on their own because Lakorawas had, I mean, Tolji Bello said, if you don't release my brother, I'm going to cause havoc. And 50 communities had to leave their environment. Do you, in all honesty, believe that these bandits, Lakorawas, Boko Haram terrorists, have been decimated by the military?
I think that's a very intelligent question you asked. I'm saying that with due regard to you and due regard to, you know, our listeners.
Thank you.
It is not possible. How can the war that we are fighting against the terrorists? So the terrorists are 20 people, 30 people, 40 people staying somewhere and you are fighting them? No. The war we are fighting is perhaps ideological to the extent that some people believe, they even have the faith and belief that those terrorists are their saviors. We know that. And so it is not something that you will now say that we are winning the war. When you win the war, they regroup, they go back, and then they come back. Have you been able to reach the heart and the mind of the wide population of the people we have in there? Okay. This is what our military are confronting.
Okay,
because they are confronting this on many fronts, let's give our prayers and let's give our support to them. Don't let us at every turn, and they make a mistake. They are Nigerians.
I'm happy that you mentioned
every turn begin to throw stones at them.
All right.
No, we cannot do that.
I'm happy you mentioned something like sympathy, you know.
Yes.
By the communities to these terrorists.
Yes.
Now, does it look like the government is also sympathizing with these terrorists? Because we hear that in Kaduna State, you know, there's a video out there where there's some form of negotiation between the government and bandits and terrorists in Kaduna. Is that some form of sympathy that the government is also extending?
We also have the likes of Sheikh Gumi also forming an intermediary between Nigerian government and the military too.
Let's watch that video. Excuse me, please. Let's watch that video if it's ready. Let's just take a minute. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we don't have that one right now. Go ahead.
The statements you've made, and the statement my young lady has also made, has supported exactly my position. The truth of the matter is, I know when Abacha said, when this thing goes on for more than, the hands of the high commands are there. I believe seriously that we have not had the kind of seriousness we need to see, one, from the state governors, two, the local government chairman, three, the emirs in those areas. That is the confrontation that our military, that we take from all over their country, are going to face on a regular basis. And that is the truth.
Now, Mr. Patunke, now it's also interesting to know that somewhere in Zamfara State, the people there also talked about how the past governor of that state were kind of having a good handshake with the military, to the point that the religious body, you have some clerics also come up to talk openly, call names and talk about how, a certain governor was giving out cars and money and all that to bandits who Nigerians know are terrorizing the people. And, the government come up to say, we did our investigation. They didn't even tell us how the investigation happened. All they know is that no one is going to go. The president come up to vote, giving confidence solely in the people that he appointed, which we know, or we've heard, the people pointing fingers to say, this particular person or this man is part of those who are sponsoring or giving aid to terrorists.
We even support what you are saying. We've seen bandits in Katsina State. Former governor went to meet them, like he said. We had a governor in Kaduna State who virtually says, yes, these are my people. We are saying exactly the same thing. And in any case, those who have been captured, perhaps released, came for Tomanin, and people were praising them. It is very true that, okay, when I say government, yes, let me say use the word government, have not been serious, Chukuma. They have not been serious within those spaces to try and rein this in as much as we can. Then secondly, when we now then talk, I am happy that this discussion is now going to the subnationals. We need to face these subnationals who also have a responsibility, even though we have a central command, who we see on a regular basis. I have not seen, personally, I haven't seen, maybe if I just mention 3 presidents, past presidents in this country. I haven't seen President Jonathan. I haven't seen President Buhari, nor have I seen President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has openly gone to those enclaves and is shaking hands with them. But we see state governors within their jurisdiction doing that. And when you are asked, they said these people are decimating us and all that. So it comes back to the root problem. The root problem is that Nigeria is a federation, and the federation constitution we are operating, unfortunately, is not working for us. It's not working the way they should work for us. And we should, if all of us collectively over time, civilians and military have failed, should not just now then sit down when we see 17 airstrikes that we haven't even heard about, what has come out of it, to now then come and then label them as.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's go to our Benin station, where we have Comrade Innocent Ajayi, the Vice President, National Youth Council of Nigeria South, standing by. Okay, well, we'll ensure that he's well seated, and then come back to him in the course of time. But Barrister, let me come back to you now.
Yes.
We're talking about local support for terrorists. This in itself has further hampered the fight against terrorism. Some of the when these attacks take place, the military say those that are affected are sympathizers. Those that are affected, they align themselves with the terrorists. Why are they even there? Why are they around the communities where the terrorists are? What does this speak to, Barrister? Does this speak to failure of governments? Does it speak to failure of research?
That is a lame excuse. In law, it is better for you to allow, in fact, 99 criminals, let them go. 99 criminals, let them go, than for you to persecute one innocent Nigerian.
Can you be more specific as to this particular?
If you are pursuing a criminal, pursue him. Don't say because one innocent man was among them, you not kill the innocent man, that you are pursuing a criminal. What kind of justice is that? I told you here, that's what the law says. It's better for you to free 99 criminals than for you to kill one innocent man because you are pursuing 99 criminals. That is wrong. There's a way for you to find out what intelligence, research. What are they doing? With the money being invested, remember, These people are collecting a chunk of our money. What are they doing with it? Mr. Moses, what are you not? You're not even talking about that because I'm saying that they are not doing this. They are not doing this. The money they are being given, where did it go to? They collect the chunk of our budget every year since Buhari. Where is the money going to? What are they using it to? Yes, in Buhari time, yes, he has always given them. Yes, yes, he has always given them the largest chunk of our budget. So what happened to the money? The Tukana jet they bought, what are they doing with it? Please, someone should answer me now. You have it that they are selling this part to the terrorists, and you are telling me that they are not complicit. So if they wanted this thing to end, why was it possible for the military to tell us? Oh my God. Military was telling them, they saw Lukana ones when they were coming, they passed through this side. Some of them came yesterday. Some even came, we thought they were farmers. We thought they were the military. We are discussing how terrorists enter Nigeria. Mr. Moses, please, how do you explain that to me? They told us, and they saw them coming, no? They said they saw them.
Yeah, couldn't that be
they saw us.
Thinking that they are
thinking of what?
People,
you mean psychologically? You cannot see, oh, somebody who came to visit to clutch AK-47, he came for peace. Or did they come with a stick?
But Robinson, you talking about killing innocent people. How much of collateral damage is acceptable within military operations?
None of them. None of them. You must be very careful. You are human life. Mr. Okoro, to tell you how serious it is, if such a thing is done, in fact, you'll be court-martialed and sent to jail because you killed an innocent man, an innocent citizen of a country. Try this in US and see what will happen. So try it in US to tell me, for you to know how a country behave to protect their citizens.
How come we're having this happening now, repeatedly, given the fact that when Jonathan was there, we heard that the reason why the Sambisa forest was not bombarded was because the insecurity, or rather the insurgent group there were using civilians as shield. Now, how come at this particular time we're seeing civilians going down, and this is like it happened on 25th of December, and again this is January, it's happening again.
Whenever we want to cover up your mistake, you say all sorts of things. These other people that they are decimating, why are they not with civilians? Tell me. It's not possible now. It's not possible. All of them cannot be shielded by civilians in that community. It's not possible. After all, when they are going to war, they know what they can't carry civilians to go along with them in the battlefield. It's not possible. All these things are lame excuses as far as I'm concerned. It means that our military don't know what they are doing. I'm telling you, they don't know.
Is it that they don't know what they are doing?
They don't know what they are doing. For them to be giving all this kind of excuse.
Don't you think that maybe they are kind of overstretched?
Okay, let me give you a typical example. When one American was kidnapped between the border of Niger and Nigeria, what do you call that place? You should know. Donald Trump, he sent 6 of elite forces from America to come and take their men out. They came here. FINA, with all the things that surrounded that area, after the discussion they gave them, they took out those guys, 6 of them. They took them out and then collected their men free and left for America. Why didn't they incinerate the whole place? Or are you telling me that where this thing happened, there are no civilian living there? Did you hear that American killed one civilian, a Nigerian civilian, in order to save their man? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Since you are claiming that our military is the best, with all the money, I have told you, since the politicians entered the military, they have compromised the military. Right. Our military is no longer what it used to be. And I'm saying that if they want us to praise them, if they want to reinvent themselves, they should go back to the drawing board and look what this is they are doing. Very much. Our military have become politicians. They have become politicians.
Before you run out of time, let me quickly, before I go to Benin, because we hear that Benin is standing by, but let me have let me give you a chance to respond to a few things, because I see that you disagree with the barrister on a few things mentioned. But as you respond, the same question basically. Now let's look at an excerpt from the Geneva Convention on collateral damage. It says, an attack shall not be launched if it may be expected to cause collateral casualties or damage, which would be excessive in relation to the concrete and direct military advantage anticipated from the attack as a whole. How do you marry this with what we've seen so far? Is this how would you relate the two?
My communication is clear. I go back and say at this point, with the states of Nigeria with the state of Nigerian military, whether you want to compare it to America or whatever it is, we are far apart. We are struggling. There's no doubt about that, and we are fighting against issues of corruption. The Tucano jets. Remember during
Moses, I thought you mentioned Geneva.
Hold on.
Please, he's speaking.
You know, the Tucano jet thing, and there was fear. That, are you sure we'll be able to man it and do it? Clearly, we were far off. And efforts were now being made to help to shore up our training capacity, even when our military are fighting against odds and against many colonists, including people who come including people who come and slow them. Now, the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention talk about materiality. A band went somewhere, mixed with locals, were fleeing, and our Air Force felt this is the same way things are going. And then they launched that attack. That attack killed quite a number of the insurgents, injured a number of the insurgents. Unfortunately.
Possibly.
Yes, unfortunately. From the report that you read on this particular one, says 16. I did say, even if it is one, it's unacceptable. My point, therefore, is simple. If I have 99 terrorists, to answer your question, and one innocent civilian, who was it? I think it was Fina that asked that question. What is that civilian doing amongst them? Please, either that civilian have been captured, these 99 went to decimate a whole barracks, kill your soldiers.
So what's your take?
My take, therefore, is, please, let's be balanced.
Okay.
Let's be sympathetic. Let's look for improvement as we move ahead. Let the coordination, the local vigilante group. In this country, we have vigilante groups in that part of the country. Were they registered? Is it known?
Well, that's
Is
another
it known?
conversation because
If it is
they
not
are the
known,
ones saying
so
that
they
are
can
affected.
coordinate their efforts.
The local vigilante are the ones trying to repel the bandits and then recover rustled animals. But they were affected.
I hear you. The question I asked, and I'm sure you heard that.
No coordination.
I said, were they registered? The military is aware.
If they were not registered, the governor would not come up to say they are vigilantes.
I am telling you, there are I live in Isolo. There are vigilantes in Isolo. Are they registered?
We have a situation where a governor came out to say they are vigilantes.
So that's
all I'm saying. Please, we need more coordination. That's all I'm saying. We need more coordination. We need.
Mr. Akin, your thoughts are saying that a single individual, a single civilian who finds himself in the 99 terrorists should also go down with them. Is that what you're saying in Russia? We'll move over to Benin.
What you heard me say, and I'm sure you have your ears loud. I said, if the 99 went to the military camp and killed their soldiers, I'm sure you heard that.
And has one civilian with them, so we should also take out the civilian alongside.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's.
I have not said that. You are the one. That is your thought.
All right.
If they keep on killing our military, our children.
All right then.
We should
thank you very much,
think
Mr.
about that.
Akin Batumke.
Yes.
Thanks for your thoughts. Let's go over to Benin now, where we have Comrade Innocent Ajayi standing by. He's the Vice President, National Youth Council of Nigeria, South. Good morning to you, Comrade. Welcome to the conversation. Now, talking about insecurity, the role of the military, and these attacks, bombings that have taken place with some civilian casualties purportedly being part of those affected. Now, talking about local support for terrorists, we've seen the situation whereby the locals themselves will say, look, they would rather align with these groups because they tend to relate with them and understand they benefit something from these people as against the government of the day. Isn't that a failure on the part of those governing the people?
First of all, let me use this opportunity to thank you, Mr. Moses, and your co for the good job that you are doing. Sincerely, what's happening today in Nigeria is that majority of the populations have, of the people of the country have lost confidence on the system. And a situation where you discover that the primary aims of government really to protect life and property, no, it's not being done in the proper way. And you have a group who call themselves terrorists and bandits and begin to do undo. At the end of the day, nothing is happening. And what do you expect from the citizens and the civilians there? For them to have a safe living, the best option they are thinking is to align with those bandits who they feel can give them security, because they feel that the government has failed them. But I think for me, that is not the way to go. The ministry today have sincerely they are doing their best, but we also need to tell them that they need to improve in whatsoever they are doing. And to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the most paramount thing as far as governance is concerned is protection of life and property. And I believe when that is done, you begin to give confidence to your citizens. Like what one of our co-discussers that is in your studio said, when you look at America, for example, America can go extra mile to if any of their citizens is being hostage, they will go to extra mile to get that one citizen, no matter what it costs them. But today in Nigeria, we don't have value for life. So for me, when you have that kind of situation, you begin to imagine that the citizens will begin to, if these are the people who can protect us, why don't we align to them? But I believe
I've lost audio there, unfortunately. We do apologize for that one. We've lost the audio from our Benin station. But anyway, let's move on to another conversation now. Now, this speaks to malnutrition, and the alarming spike in malnutrition has raised concerns in Jigawa State, as one Osita Okechukwu, a founding member of the APC, has urged the Presidential Economic Team to support President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda aimed at taking millions of Nigerians out of poverty. Let's talk about malnutrition and a lot of other things surrounding it when we come back from this break. Join us again.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. On the second conversation, the Jigawa State government has raised the alarm over a dramatic surge in malnourished children in rural areas, calling the situation dire and the need of immediate action. During a crucial meeting, Dr. Sambo Shehu, the Executive Secretary of the Jigawa State Primary Health Care Development Agency, announced the approval of 250 million naira for ready-to-use therapeutic food, RUTF, to tackle this crisis. Dr. Shehu emphasized that key priorities for 2025 includes ramping up routine immunization, enhancing antenatal and delivery services, and intensifying efforts to combat child malnutrition. In a related move, the Executive Secretary handed over a newly built and fully furnished two-bedroom staff house to the Abaya Primary Health Care Center in Duse local government area. This is one of the 7 such projects across the state founded by a generous grant from the Governor's Forum residents of Abaya community. And the people have also expressed their profound gratitude and pledged unwavering support for the government's healthcare initiatives. Meanwhile, Osita Okechukwu, a founding member of the All Progressives Congress, urged the presidential economic team to support President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda aimed at uplifting millions of Nigerians and ensuring success in the 2027 election. Interestingly, we still have with us in the studio this morning, we still have Barrister Darlington Agomo, VOP TV in-house analyst, a political commentator and analyst too. And then we have Akin Fatenke, who is a communication consultant and an arbitrator, also with us in the studio. We will also be going to our Benin station, to get the opinion of the guests who haven't been in. Now, let me also start with you, Barrister Darlington Agomo. It's not yet June 2025. It's still January 2025. And Jigawa State is coming up to talk about how children in the rural area are suffering malnutrition. What does this really portend? Even as some people are calling on how Nigerians should please sit back, try as much as they can to support the present administration and its policy, which, according to Okechukwu Osita, is tagged or is aimed at uplifting Nigerians from poverty. What do you have to say about this?
Please, are you surprised? Was it not said? Did I not say last year that this year is going to be tough for every Nigerian? But some people who claim that they love Tinubu and APC more than the rest of us, they will not agree with us. This is just a tip of the iceberg, because Jigawa is not the only poor state in the north. Others will follow suit. How can you get food when bandits and the criminals do not allow farmers to go to farm? How can you get food? Did you not say it here? All the noise they made that they are going to give, what is it called now? Duty free for food to come. 180 days. Where is it? Since they said that thing, is 180 days not gone? Where is the food? Where is the duty free? Nothing. So, when you see this type of thing happening, you ask yourself, what is the government doing? With all the pronouncement they made, why are they not following through? But if it is something that concerns them, immediately they will do it without even telling you. You won't even notice it. Remember the jet that was bought? They did not even allow the National Assembly to discuss. They go and buy it. But this one that concerns the masses, let all of them die first. After all, we are too many. That is the impression. We are too many. Let some people die.
Now, what will you say that, Mr. Darlington, given the fact that the Vice President, while he was trying to, respond to Keme Baden, okay, he said something about how Nigerians' population come 2030 will be the biggest or the largest in Africa and also in the world if need be. So why will you not say they are saying less than people die? Have you forgotten the statement made by the Vice President?
Hold on. You have not gotten to that number and things are happening like this. If you not get to that stage, Inko, have you imagined what will happen if Nigeria get to at least 300 million people?
But looking at the policies of this present administration and how the present administration also have been giving out handouts, palliative, trying as much as they can to curb the issue or side effects any policy they are bringing on the table will have. Now, Barrister Darlington, I also have a promise, that by 2015 or thereabout, 2025, before it ends, inflation, which you are just talking about now, food inflation, and every other inflation will reduce to 15% from what it is against 30%.
I have told you like dwelling on what they told you. I don't like you telling me what they said.
But this one is a government. This is a government telling you. A governor is telling you that people are dying of malnutrition or that a whole lot of persons are malnourished in his state, and you believe that, Barrister. So why would you believe again what the government is saying?
Hold on, because the government there are two different governments, state and federal. Whenever anything comes from federal, especially that Abuja, count me out. I told you. Because since they came into office, there is nothing that they have told us that came to pass. Nothing. It's all speculations. I gave you several examples. I don't know why you are not listening to that. Okay. 2024 budget, they told us that the naira will be 800 naira to $1. Was it what went out throughout was it what pan out in 2024? Did you know the SNJ that span into 2025 now? Okay. Did it come to pass? All the palliative you are talking about, please, who will help?
All right, but first, let's bring in Mr. Fatuke into the conversation now. Mr. Fatuke, you know Okechukwu, founding member of APC, and he has lashed out at the presidential economic team. He says, look, you guys are not doing well. You are not doing enough make sure you don't derail, the renewed hope agenda of the president. Does it look like Osita Okechukwu is passing box instead of calling on the president to, do the needful by maybe changing, the presidential economic team, rather than, instead of calling on the president, he's attacking the presidential economic team. And does it look like, is he kind of trying to say that the policies of this administration have failed? Because they are the ones, he said, that are driving the agenda, and they should not derail it. What's your reaction?
Yeah, my reaction is I will speak strictly on what I read. I did not read the embellishments, and I did not read what Osita Okechukwu said to be an indictment on policies. What Osita Okechukwu said was directed to the social infrastructure safety nets, and that government at the center should please make sure this dovetails down to the states. Now, again, the humanity in me will, and you have to permit this, look at Jigawa State, which is the focus and the malnutrition that we are talking about. Governor Nemadi, I actually have to sympathize with you. Between 25th of December and 26th, you lost your mom, and then the following day you lost your son. Again, please, I don't want to be misunderstood. Sometimes when we begin to throw stones, we don't know that it may be coming back to hit us badly. And that could happen to anybody. In terms of health care delivery, in terms of food crisis that we have. Like Barrister Agomo said, it's not only Jigawa. Even in your own state, even in my own state, all over Nigeria, there's a lot of hunger on the land. However, I do happen to know that in Jigawa State, the kind of fair allocation that they have been getting has gone more than 4 or 5 times.
All right. No, we are pressed for time. We need to move on.
Okay.
I want.
Are you saying you understand the fact that everything lies within the state governor?
All right.
To make sure that they have the land and they have to do the farming. Unfortunately,
all right. Thank you, Mr.
Like you said, security is coming into the picture, and we need to look at a holistic way of doing a restructuring.
All right, thank you
so
very
that
much.
Thank you.
Barrister, you seem to be shaking your head. I want you to react to the
security is the purpose of any federal government.
Okay.
The security, the command and control is in Abuja. No state governor can even control a CP, a commissioner of police.
Okay. Barrister, I want him to react to Osita Okechukwu's statement on the presidential economic team. Does it look like?
It doesn't, because let me tell you, it is known to you and I that this president does not listen to advice. It's on record.
No, it's not.
Advice, hold on now. Obi advising, hold on. When Obi advising, what happened? When Obi advising, what happened? Mr. Moses, talk now.
Obi is in the opposition. We are talking about the presidential economic team, which he constituted by himself.
Do you think that those people there, they don't know what they do? They don't know, Abi? Okay, the one he pronounced with his own mouth, that is going to give a waiver free for food importation. Even drugs. Mr. Okodo, was it the NEC that said the National Economic Team Committee? Was there, he pronounced it himself. So why didn't he follow through with what he said and ask the custom officer to follow through?
So don't you think that they are the ones who are not letting him do or make the policies or make the because someone has said this, Dalong told us, made it known to Nigerians that the president is not aware of what is happening. That he said it. He said
he's not fit to be there. He's not fit to be there.
Barrister,
the vote stop on the table.
Before you respond,
if things are going well now, who will take the credit?
All right, then. Barrister, thank you very much for your response. Let's go to our outstation in Benin, where Comrade Innocent Ajayi is standing by. Comrade Innocent, now, in your analysis, you've been following the conversation. What would you say? What's your reaction so far?
Well, thank you very much. For me, one of also the major purpose of governance is food security. Any government that is in power must do its best to provide food to its people, and this can be done if the farmer have access to their place of where they do their farming. But if you discover today, because of this banditry whatsoever, our farmer does not have access to their farm. So in the situation that farmer doesn't have access to their farm, what do you expect? And that is what we are seeing right now. So for me, there's need for the president and commander-in-chief to put in more effort and give the command to the various armed forces that there's need for them to protect our farmers so that they can go back to the farm. Because I know that Nigeria, we can feed ourselves. But because of what is happening, where you see somebody go to the farm and is being kidnapped and they are being killed, so people are not scared to go to the farm. That is what you are seeing what is happening now. So my view is that the government must do all what it takes to protect farmers so that at the end of the day, we could have having something like malnutrition. It's so painful seeing children, what they are going through right now, when we have enough farmland for us to cultivate so that we can produce food for our people. So for me, it still boiled down to security. When there's a security in a country, when the citizen is being protected.
All right then. Indeed, of course, when security is in place. But there's another angle to it that I want us to touch on. And I come to you now, Barrister Darlington. Yes, we're talking about malnutrition. We're talking about children, people not having enough food. Comrade Innocent has talked about, the security aspects of it, where farmers are not allowed to farm. But then, we have people in IDP camps in places like Sokoto, Kebbi, and the rest. UNICEF.
And Benue.
In August last year, 2024, UNICEF made a revelation of theft at IDP camps in Sokoto precisely, where nutritional supplements were provided by foreign organizations for the people, and these things were stolen, not by the government, not by Tinubu, but by individuals that were meant to supply these things. They stole the nutritional supplements, and filled up the cartons with stones to hide the theft. And then those things were found in marketplaces being sold. How is that a Tinubu problem? Isn't that a problem with the people themselves?
My dear, don't go far. It is the problem of Tinubu squarely.
How so?
His problem. If he has selected a good team, 100 people that work with him, this thing will not happen.
In IDP camps?
Anywhere. If he had even stopped the IDP camp from becoming a reality, this thing should not happen. Are you not even embarrassed that under his what we have IDP? These are farmers who's supposed to go to farm.
Started before.
It started before. You can't you stop it? I don't like this. You will keep tossing the ball. Who will not stop it? Every government, it does not start with me. It did not, but stealing of money, embezzlement, living large, it started with him. Abi? No, it did not. The thing that he could go and buy private jets without approval. That one started with him, Abi. But other things cannot start with him. So you can imagine you people. It's only a journalist, you people. It's only a journalist who will see a man who wants to commit suicide. Instead of you to go and scare him away, you say, no, you bring out your camera. You can't record it until the man commits the suicide. You now go and prophesy the scoop. It's a correct scoop. Because that's a very dangerous profession. We are telling something here, you're saying you did not start with him. Then who will stop it? Is that not why you came to office?
We're laying the facts.
No, is that not why you came to office? To correct the wrong. To correct the wrong. And then under your watch, the wrong is becoming so embarrassed.
As journalists, our job is to educate the people. So we're trying to educate Nigerians.
Was it not the journalists that packaged Tinubu for us when they were
we are educating
Lagos Ibadan Press? They told us he will perform the magic.
We are educating the people.
Including my friend in here. All of them packaged Tinubu. So what's going on now? Why are you not defending him?
Thank you very much.
Let him do the work and stop blaming anybody.
Let me pose this question to you now, Mr. Akin.
Thank
your
you
thoughts on it?
Yes, my thought on it is that it's not when you raise your voice and shout and...
No, but that's not the question.
No. I mean,
that's not the question.
I make my point, gently. The truth is that in Nigeria, the constitution that we are operating and the system of government that we're operating is not working. Attempts have been made to now then see, look, can we try and tinker, do a few things? In the example that you gave, we also saw civilians, we call them youths, who have gone out to regular enterprise and decided to destroy. We have seen people that have gone to the rail lines to remove in Abuja and all that. And my friend is saying that it is a particular person's fault.
Look,
my point.
Look, since you are referring if you wanted to
allow me to.
You are giving society that prepares the crime, the criminal commits it. It is the children you have bred that are destroying what you have built because you don't take care of them. It's pure and simple. It's like this area boys now that are disturbing Lagos. Somebody brought them here.
So am I going to
was that a culture before?
But you refer to him.
Yes, now I'm telling you.
If you respond,
it is the society that prepares the crime. Don't mention them. If you behave where they behave well.
I know what I referred to. I said,
if you behave where they behave well.
When we are talking and then making a point, it takes a detour. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not. I mean, what he's saying, he has a right to say whatever it is he wants to say. Doesn't, go on well with me. We have people. We have mosques. We have churches. We have shrines. We preach morality on a regular basis. I can understand that the mere fact that somebody is not doing it well elsewhere is not enough for you to go to a fellow human being and then disembowel the person, and you are now pointing. It is not right. So the example that you gave, yes, what I hear is that it's because we are hungry. It's because we are angry. I know we are hungry and angry. I'm hungry and angry does not mean that I should go and decapitate my fellow human being.
All right.
The federal government is making attempts, 2 attempts that has been made now, pleaded with the Govs. You own the land. You have more money. Please, let's see how you can help feed your people. It's not Bola Tinubu. It's not the federal government that's going to do that.
Mr. Is there resource control for that to happen? Mr. Kintaike, are we looking at resource control?
Reality in the ears of people who don't want to hear. We are operating a quasi-federation. Everybody is now looking at the center.
Mr. Fetuke,
when we should really be looking at subnational levels. And this government also did something.
All right.
Can we get governance to the grassroots?
Exactly the point. Now, my question is this.
And then it's being resisted.
Sorry,
and then at the end of the day, some people will now then come and still be
We are running out of time.
Okay.
We are running out of time.
Okay.
I know you're a communications consultant.
Yes. And I'm very proud of my...
Very proud of yourself. Communications expert.
Of my band.
When Americans say... Sorry, barrister. When Americans say, the buck stops at the president's table, what do they mean by that? Can you help us understand?
Yes, I will tell you. The buck stops on the leader's table. And
No, they said the president's table, not the leaders.
Yeah, the president is a leader.
Yes.
I want to use the word the president.
The president said it, yes.
And they have used it often. The president.
Okay, so in other words, we are saying the president of Nigeria is not the leader of Nigeria.
No, I'm asking you a question, Mr. Aki. When Americans say the buck stops at the president's table, leave leadership away. I'm talking about the president. You are a communications person.
You are telling me I'm a communications person. Now I'm communicating. Now you are not deciding.
No, I don't want that form of communication. The president's table.
My point is, the president of Nigeria is the leader of Nigeria presently.
Okay.
And leadership, whether you are president or you are leader, comes at different levels because we have a constitution that we are operating. At the subnational levels, the constitution recognizes that the leader of the state or the governor of the state is also, and a lot has been given to these leaders to contribute their quota.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kida, you are not answering my question. I might have to go to Benin. Let's go to a Benin studio where you have Innocent that is standing by.
You are shutting me up because
yes,
I am making a point.
You are not answering the question.
My point, I have answered my question.
That is not the question I asked you.
Well,
I asked you. I wasn't talking about the sub-national.
No.
I'm talking about the both stops at the president's table.
You cannot be talking about leadership without talking about the sub-national. That is the part of the problem with Nigeria.
Let's go to
and
our
you're a journalist.
Let's go to our
You're a journalist. How can you make a statement like that in the open? You don't have to agree with me, but that is the reality of Nigeria.
No,
it's good to have you again.
It's not. Yeah, thank you very much. My big uncle that is sitting over there must understand that as he speaks today, the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the President and Commander. That is President Tinubu. So if the President Tinubu is not being called, who does he want them to call? And then let me deviate from that angle. First of all, I want to say this. Sincerely, it is how you bring up your children. That is how they behave outside your vicinity. For example, you were talking about people committing one or two crimes. Everybody must understand that at today, the kind of hunger that is in this country is alarming. A situation where it is difficult for people to have just a square meal, you know what that means. They are not even talking about having a balanced diet, just a square meal. You know how difficult it is at today. And we are talking about the youth. Yes, what do you expect when the government refuses to make things to work properly? When we say government, we are not saying it's President Tinubu that caused it. This thing has been happening for time immemorial. But after today, the president and commander is Tinubu. His purpose of coming to rule Nigeria as a president is to make life better for the people. So we must continue to call on his name so that Nigerians will be happy and Nigeria we get the dividend of democracy. Now let me go back to the state government and all traditional rulers. Yes, I've always said this in a different forum that everybody is a leader no matter the capacity you are operating on. You must understand that we have no other country than Nigeria and we must do our best to do what is right. But we must not forget that the every decision ends on the table of the president. And it is the directive that he gives that makes it to flow down to the people. For example, you don't make sure what just happened in Jigawa. How would they bring a supplement drug and somebody have that kind of negative courage to take those drugs and begin to sell them? Who is the person coordinating those camps? Those people need to be.
Let me ask you, if you say the president should rein them in, can the president order the governors around? Can he tell the governors what to do in their states?
Let me say this. The president is in charge of security of this country. If the president can direct the governor, this is what he wants. It's like the most powerful president today in the world is Nigerian president. The kind of power that the president of this country is holding, you hardly find it in other countries. So to me, he has all what it takes to put this right. And we keep on calling on him because we want a better Nigeria. We are not saying that he's not doing.
Let him land. Let him land. He still has. No, he hasn't. he still has a few things to say. So let's have your concluding thoughts as well. You have a minute, please.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, in essence, is that we don't have any other president. We will keep on calling President Tinubu to do what is right. As I said, that what just happened in Jigawa. How will somebody store drugs for something that is made for IDP camps? People are living there, and nobody now. We have not heard that anybody was arrested or persecuted. Is that the kind of country we are talking about? That is the high level of inhuman to human. How will somebody behave like that? So for me, it is when the president is decisive or people who are not making things to work. Because he cannot be in everywhere. But all you have to do is to give directive. He is in charge of security. Give directive to them and let those people be persecuted. For me, on the angle of the governor, as I said before, the president have all what it takes to tell the governor, this is how I want it, and it will work. We agree that a lot of people, there's no place to have a saboteur. Among the 12, there's only the Judah. But that doesn't mean that they are more than us. So for me, the president must put his feet on ground so that Nigeria will have the dividend of democracy. I want to appeal. There is need for them to continue to protect our farmers. That is the only way we can feed our.
Thanks to you, Comrade Innocent Ajayi, National Vice President, National Youth Council of Nigeria, South. He's been very passionate there. Mr. Akin Fatunke, let's have your concluding thoughts now.
My concluding thoughts to Innocent and Barrister and to Nigerians is that there is one pathway forward. Let's embrace the truth, and the conscience being an open wound, only truth can heal it. Mr. President does not have the power under the constitution that we are operating to order the governors. He can persuade the governors, he can plead with the governors, he's been pleading with them, he's been giving them more money, and that when the aggregates all get together, that's when we now have something a bit much more unified. But he's right also to say that the buck stops on the president's table. The buck stops on the president's table to make sure that Nigeria is properly restructured in a way and manner. Two things that he has done.
All right.
Local government autonomy, the issue of the of the taxation that is now saying the poor people should not pay tax.
All right. Thank you very much.
What else do you expect him to do?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I am even disappointed from what he said. APC came on the matter of change.
No, say your own.
Sorry. APC told us that PDP 16 years is the worst on earth, and they are coming to change things. Please, my friends and listeners, have they changed anything? Under their watch, things have gotten worse. Under their watch. Now, listen very well. He said the Tinubu doesn't have power. Who had the power to take local government financial autonomy? On his own, he took it to the National Assembly and they approved it. And now the thing is causing problem.
Causing problem for
hold on, I'm coming. Listen. Whether is this telling true? Now, who has the power to appoint a governor? Because they went to him and said, do you want me to give you Edo State? They said, I will give you Edo State. And he appointed somebody who could not read his budget. Meanwhile, listen, all the people he appointed, look at the baggages all of them have. Is that not why they gave him number 3?
Well, thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agumore.
So what are you saying? It's because of every problem.
You want to box me?
We've been speaking with
I'm telling you.
You are not telling me.
Fatunke, who is a communication consultant.
He's my friend.
And also a public affairs commentator. Well, that's it for the show today. We must save everything to our guest as well from Benin Station. But we do have a few messages to read. Oh, well, we'll take them in the course of other programs. Well, that's it on the show. On behalf of the backroom staff, I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. Don't forget, stick around, 9 o'clock, newspaper review. Join us again.